Steve, this girl, Maci, as you said, likes to play with boys because she says it gives her that challenge that she is looking for. But the league rules in the Super Division are clear. Girls play with girls and boys play with boys. Maci Barlow is quite the wizard with the soccer ball. The 12-year-old seventh grader started playing the sport as a toddler.
Just kind of played with some of my friends. Played in the backyard with my dad, so that's kind of how I got into soccer.
She first played in rec leagues. Then when she was 8, she says she decided she wanted to be the best she could be.
By 9 and 10, I was realizing I was getting a lot better and that I want to go pro and stuff.
Here are some of Barlow's game highlights. You might notice she isn't playing with other girls. She's playing with boys. Barlow started playing with boys when she was 6. Her mother, Soretta Barlow, says it was her coach's idea. They thought it was better for Maci's development. Why do you like playing with boys?
It challenges me. I feel like they're more physical and they move the ball faster and I think are just better players to play against and play with.
But Maci can no longer play with boys in club tournaments. Here's why. Maci's team recently joined the Washington Premier League. The league rules are clear. Quote, in the WPL, players must play on teams of their same sex. The only limited exception is if there is not a girls' team within 30 miles. Why not let her play with girls?
There's nothing wrong with playing with girls, but it doesn't help her development and her growth. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help her.
I spoke to the league's president for over an hour. He does not want to do an interview, but here's what he says. First, he says Maci can play with boys. She can practice with them and play in exhibition matches. Second, he says Maci's team knew the rules and tried to play her anyways. Third, he says there are other elite girls teams in the Portland area that Maci can play with. Finally, he says the Washington Premier League won't change its rules in the middle of the season, but he says league leaders will meet at the end of the season next month to discuss all their rules and debate any changes then. Maci wants to play in league tournaments right now.
I've been playing with some of my teammates since I was 6, and I think all I want to do is just play with my teammates, and I think it's kind of weird how I can't be playing with them just because of my gender.
Come watch her play for 5 minutes. She not only hangs with the boys, she thrives. And like I said, I sound like a mom, but just watch her.
Maci and her mom want a pretty simple resolution. They don't want teams forced to take girls, but they want girls who have coaches' approval, parents' approval, and the players' approval to be able to play on the team in league tournaments.
Right. Have you looked into what other leagues are doing now about this?
We have, and we've heard back from a few of them. MLS Next is run by Major League Soccer. A league spokesperson for the MLS says they currently have 15 girls playing on boys' teams right now. The Oregon Youth Soccer Association also allows it. The Elite Clubs National League, perhaps the most elite soccer league in the country, also allows girls to play with boys. We've got Maci's mother's response to the league's reasons for not letting Maci play. You can read that on Katu.com. We'll keep in touch with the Washington Premier League and see if they change their rules.
Saying that they feel heard, now it's just a question of where do we go from here and what needs to be done so that we don't lose more small businesses in Portland. Samantha Backer and Jill Golden were so excited to move their boutique into the Hawthorne shopping district back in 2017.
There's so much foot traffic and it's a really great retail environment, so we were very excited.
Fast forward through a pandemic, vandalism, and smashed windows and doors, and understandably, feelings have changed.
It is a very different business world for us now.
All the other cities have recovered. What's going on?
They met with former Mayor Sam Adams this morning, who's now the city's Director of Strategic Innovation, pressing Adams on why the city's not doing more.
You're saying, make your voices heard. Where else do we go and what else do we do?
This is a partnership. I'm not putting it back on you. I'm saying we need support for helping to address some of the things that you rightfully are worried about.
We did feel heard. I think Sam Adams really does care about small businesses. At this point, what it feels like is that what the city has available to it is woefully inadequate.
They say if something doesn't happen soon, what was once a busy Hawthorne district may not come back.
I think that one of the things that people love about Portland is that it's a big city that lives like a small town, and everyone wants to visit that, but not anymore.
Speaking of tourism, they say nearly 80% of their business is from visitors, so it really shows the predicament that these owners are in right now.
Well, last year you didn't have to worry about your electricity shutting down even if you didn't pay the bill. Disconnect was protected by the state, but it was lifted in August. So now people are worried going into the colder months.
I noticed that at one point it was $30 about a month ago, and now it's all of a sudden $80 for this month.
Portland resident Ray Ramos just noticed the change.
I'm very worried because I'm assuming the bills might even go higher on the electricity bills.
If you're using natural gas, if you're using electricity, God help you if you're using propane this year because the prices are going up substantially.
Nonprofit Oregon Energy Fund helps people who can't pay their energy bills.
That's me.
Executive Director Brian Albritton confirms prices are skyrocketing across the country.
Propane prices are not regulated and they're spiking to nearly 50% of normal.
And with the weather expected to be colder this year,
And I don't think we're going to see the extremes that we had seen the last winter, but we might see temperatures a little below average, so you might be turning that heat up just a little bit more.
your life could depend on having that energy.
This summer, in June, we had 96 deaths due to the heat wave that happened.
In the winter, freezing isn't the only problem.
If you're reliant on an oxygen machine, if you're reliant on a refrigerator, keep your insulin cold. If you don't have the electricity running, it's a life issue.
And an inability to pay that bill is more common than you may think.
In Oregon, it's about a 1 in 4 household problem, which equates to nearly 500,000 Oregonians. And that's every single year.
If you're having trouble paying your bill, call your utility company. They may be able to push back the due date or help you set up a payment plan.